On this week's World of Saltwater Fishing, we're taking a trip to the middle of the North Atlantic. And we're going to be off the Azores in search of some major league big game fish. This is one exciting adventure you can't afford to miss.
George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing. Big fish don't stand a chance.
The Azores are an archipelago forged from the fires of the earth. They breached the water's surface around 10 million years ago. This chain of volcanic islands sits roughly about 1,000 miles off Portugal. I've yet to see the vivid colors of green and the remarkable blues that I happen to witness in the Azores. The draw of the Azores for big game anglers is the migration of large blue marlin that come past these islands in the North Atlantic. And also, they have a big run of 3 different types of tuna basically at the same time, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But on the very first day, it happened. Here comes a marlin up on one of the teasers and all heck broke loose.
Go, George.
Stop.
Stop.
It's a marlin.
All right,
It's a marlin.
gotcha. But hang on. First, I need to tell you how we got here. Kerry Chen, a longtime friend of mine, he wanted me to join him in the Azores on a trip. So Azores Tourism actually reached out to us. They wanted us to come over and shoot a World of Saltwater Fishing to highlight the big game fishing opportunities off the Azores. But there was one little catch. We could not run on an American boat. They wanted to highlight, naturally, their captains. So this is where Diogo Pavia comes into play. He's one of the local pros here that has a long-standing history of catching all sorts of fish off the Azores, blue marlin included. So you look at the time frame, about 3 hours from Fort Lauderdale to JFK, New York. Then from there, we had an 8-hour layover. Then we boarded the Sataflight for about 6.5 hours of flying time to San Miguel. So no need to tell you, we were all worn out. And our tour guide met us, and we couldn't wait to get to the hotel and catch up on some sleep. But oh no, tourism had other plans for us. Okay, it's 8 a.m. Azores time, and we're about ready to hit the ground running. The tour guide said, come on, we've got one full day and we've got another one, so let's get going. So we had no say in that matter. The topography here is really amazing because you could go all the way high up, all the way low down to the coast, and the weather conditions actually change when you're there, from the heavy mist to bright sunshine and a crisp wind down by the coast. But the sheer beauty, if somebody blindfolded you and took you to the top of San Miguel and took the blindfold off and said, where are we? You might guess the mountains of Tennessee or North Carolina. A short drive later, we enter this forest, remarkable green forest with all these big old trees. It's a forest that looks like what you would read as fairy tales in kindergarten. It's just really remarkable. As the drive progressed, it became very obvious that every stretch of roadway, walkway, side streets was lushly landscaped, and they have this flower over there, hydrangea, which is a remarkably beautiful flower, big, lush, and has all sorts of vibrant colors. And everywhere you go, you see this landscape here. It's remarkable. You need to really see this to appreciate it. And if you're into gardening by any stretch of the imagination and you were over here, you think you died and went to heaven. The calderas. So now you have volcanoes that built this whole environment here. When they collapse and end their life cycle, a lot of them just form these huge freshwater lakes, and the color is amazing. You're looking at clear turquoise-hued waters in here, and from what I understand, they even have freshwater fish. So here you are in the middle of the North Atlantic, open ocean. Then you get on these islands like San Miguel, and they have freshwater lakes there too. So you want to talk about a highly diverse environment, it's the Azores. These are memories that are going to last a lifetime. So certain parts, certain pieces of beauty. You know, you have to get the whole entire crew. We got to get together and take some photo albums. For you young ones out there that don't know what a photo album is, ask your parents. At the end of that day, we were totally exhausted, but what a remarkable tour it was. I couldn't wait to get back to the hotel, get a nice shower, get a real good night's sleep, but hang in there because a lot more activity and a lot of fishing action is yet to come, so stay with us.
George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing is proudly brought to you by Penn, let the battle begin. Mako, you'll find them where the fish are. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Mercury Marine, go boldly. George, we'll be right back.
With just a few hours of sleep, the team and I are ready to head out for day 2 of exploring San Miguel Island in the Azores. 8 o'clock the next morning, we go down for a cup of coffee, and who is in the lobby area with a big smile? Raphael, our tour guide. He says, let's go. When he says 8 o'clock, wheels up, 8 o'clock, wheels up. It was time to jump in the car and yet see more beauty around the Azores, San Miguel, more specifically. After a short drive, Raphael took us to these volcanic hot springs. Now, this is an area that you just see a lot of steam coming up from the ground, and people actually cook their food in these hot springs. I'm watching people put food in pots into these sulfur hot springs for a period of time, and then I learned that a lot of the local restaurants will specialize in having your food cooked in these sulfur pits. And then when it's all done, they'll bring that food up and then serve it. It's pretty remarkable because you're cooking with Mother Nature right here. Sulfur pits. No additives, no preservatives. Could you get more natural than that? I don't know. So after the hot springs, we had a truck here that served pina coladas right on site. So I figured it has to be good. We're not driving, Raphael is, so we might as well enjoy some of the local pina coladas here. But to my surprise, is they don't use rum here. A pina colada with vodka, whatever happened to Papa's Pilar rum? I don't know if I really enjoyed that vodka pina colada. So when I thought we basically saw everything at the first volcanic hot springs, Raphael takes us to yet a much larger area where you look around everywhere you turn, just large puddles of bubbling, smoking, steaming sulfur pits. Basically the middle of the earth, just sending all that hot bubbling sulfur water up. It's nature, it's a volcanic activity basically. So as the tour progressed, the hot springs continued, but Raphael took us to a version that was saltwater. There was actually these saltwater little coves that were heated by the volcanic waters and heat coming up, and people are out there swimming in these coves, all volcanic rock around, and that water is actually hot. So you imagine that, swimming in coves of hot volcanic water. It's just a totally different environment trying to wrap your head around this. Another beautiful point I need to make and actually show you was this one horseshoe-like area or environment that had a remarkably beautiful waterfall coming down. And again, here you are in the middle of North Atlantic, and you don't really think waterfalls are out here. You're thinking someplace in the U.S. up in the mountains, but here you are, a totally different environment, and just taking in the waterfall and those little nice-looking homes and everything else around there. Just another look at San Miguel and the Azores. And did you know that the Azores are known for their tea? We took a tour of the Goriana Tea Factory, just acres upon acres of tea. And of course, I had strict orders from my wife and a couple of my daughters that don't come back to the U.S. without buying some Goriana tea, so that's exactly what I did. So the tour of San Miguel ended in the city where we walked around, taking in all the sights and sounds. We didn't have much time there because we had to board a flight to Fayal. I'll tell you what, a lot of seat time on this trip. We're getting that much closer to going fishing.
George, what does SATA stand for?
Superior Atlantic Tuna Angling. One version of it. We landed in Fayal. Now we end up in Horta, and it's 10 p.m. at night. Just enough time to meet our captain, dispatch our gear, put it all together, and get ready to start first thing in the morning. It's time to go fishing and see how our luck would hold up. Starbright introduced its next level clean and protection lineup featuring cutting-edge ceramic formulations for every surface, including metal and vinyl. My two favorites are Starbright Ceramic Wash and Wax, which, after it cleans, leaves a solid protective shine, and their Cleaning Speed Detailer, which I use every other month to maintain the sharp shine and easy cleanup on both my inshore and offshore boats.
George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing is proudly brought to you by Simrad, never settle. Rapala holds the world record for world records. Suffix, always use the best line. Starbright, clean and protect with Starbright. George will be right back.
With enough sightseeing to last a lifetime, we're chomping at the bit to get out on the ocean. We are now in Horta on Fiel Island. So that morning, we bring all the gear down and we meet our captain, Diogo Pavia. And he told me about all the unique fisheries they have, even though blue marlin is the big target. So here we go. The real reason that we're here is to have our shot at trying to catch a blue marlin in these waters. Unfortunately, a couple days before we flew on this trip, the bite had turned off. Fishing is fishing. When you hit it, when these fish are migrating through, you get a home run. And when the fish aren't migrating through, then it becomes, a dicey proposition. You're gonna have to rely on a lot of luck at that stage of the game. And we had gone out. And we had Andrea working the cockpit with a really good crew. Diogo was up there on top and put a full spread of lures out. They organized a really attractive spread. We had teasers, the marlin lures were just pretty much churning in there, and everything was really looking good. It was, time now to hook a marlin. Well, what happened? A marlin on day one of our fishing came up on that teaser right behind it.
Yo, George.
Stop.
Stop.
It's a marlin.
All right,
It's a marlin.
gotcha. You want me to tease, drop back, or what?
Do you see it there?
No. And everybody just a totally different mindset. We're watching, we're trying to get another bait up in place to move that marlin off the teaser and over to a lure. And that marlin was on that teaser, took one half-hearted little swing at it, and never ever looked at another bait that we had brought up. And we tried everything, circled around several times, and never had another shot at bringing that marlin up. So with more of a window shopper, came up, looked at a teaser, and whoa, that was it. I thought we were gonna get on the board early. And that's how day one of fishing ended. We raised one blue marlin and didn't see another fish. Day two, the baits go back out. Everything is really looking remarkable. So we're trolling. What happened the previous day, it was an afternoon bite where we raised the fish on the teaser. So it was the afternoon, and here comes a marlin. Comes up behind one of the lures and just half-hearted whacked it.
Oh,
this side.
Left long.
So we reeled up really quickly, trying to tease the marlin back for a strike, raced over to the lure on the other side of the boat, halfway hit that, not aggressively, and we tried everything, trying to tease this fish up again, and it never ever came back. And never saw a fish the rest of the afternoon. So now time is drawing short here. We're here to do a fishing show. Without a fish, as much remarkable beauty the Azores have, we can't do a show unless we catch a fish. So the pressure is starting to mount. It's a long way to go and not catch a fish and not get a show. What would we replace this show with? A Biscayne Bay sea trout show? It was in the cards at that point in the time of this trip. So day three, here we go. Dreadfully slow, a big goose egg, okay? A big zero, nothing. The cameras did not even come out of their cases. We got one more day after this one, and without a fish on day four, you won't be seeing this program. The Azores encompass all colors of the spectrum, from cobalt blue to the most vibrant evergreen waters. The big draw here, fishing-wise, is the annual migration of large blue marlin, some approaching and breaking 1,000 pounds. However, their yet-to-be-tapped fishery are the tunas. Often, yellowfin, bluefin, and big-eye tunas are here all at the same time.
An artbypasta.com from Catch to Canvas Rendering.
Catch the canvas, baby.
We'll be right back. George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing is proudly brought to you by the Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. ACR, the leader in marine safety electronics. Papa's Pilar Artesian Crafted Rum. Never a spectator. VMC, your expert in hooks. Art by Pasta. Real life art. Visit artbypasta.com.
Day 4, this is it. The last day in the Azores to try to get a fish for a show. We're focused on blue marlin. And Rob the Swede Green, my show producer, and I had a long talk with Diogo that morning and said, Diogo, we need a fish. We need to change something up. If these marlin, if we can't raise a marlin or get a marlin, we have to do something. What about the tuna? It's one of the very few places in the world where you have 3 types of tuna in the waters, all at the same time, all large. We're talking yellowfin tuna, bluefin tuna, and big-eye tuna. And Diogo says that the tuna are all over. You go to certain sides of the island and you can find them over there, and they're all big. We have Diogo's reputation to save. We've got the Azores Tourism who brought us over here. It's hard to showcase an area when you don't have anything to showcase, but we're making it work. We spoke with Diogo. He finally gave in. He said, okay, we're going to go for the tunas now. And when he rounded the island and we look and we see birds everywhere, it was like a totally different life zone here. Changed out a couple lures in the spread, put more tuna-oriented lures in. And here we are, I guess it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, somewhere in that time frame. We just start to drag through the birds. And then, bam!
All right, I can hear you.
So I get in the chair. We have a big tuna now. And the question is, what type of tuna is it? But it just feels good to be in that chair, hooked up with a long-running fish. Okay, this game is not over with yet. And it's going, and it's going. So finally the boat starts backing down to reclaim line. And we were on definitely the windward side of the island. And here we are backing down into the sea. And we certainly did take a good saltwater bath on very frequent occasions on that. All right, gaining.
There he is. There he is. I see him.
Yeah, I got you.
Got it.
No comment. They'll probably bleep it out anyway. Oh. Hey, close the door.
Whoa!
All right, I'm coming out of the chair now if you want to get them at it. Come here.
Nice one. Oh, that's a good fish. Woo! That's a 200.
I'm getting this headset off. I'm not driving a NASCAR car. I'm fishing. And I'm looking at this fish, and now I'm just totally besides myself. Wow. Not only is this a large big-eye tuna, but here was the show. Right here was the show. And the celebration began. And the time was out. We had to get back around to the marina, so we didn't have much time to even put the baits back out and nail another one. But there's no doubt in my mind, we would have crushed the tuna.
Big eye tunas all year round, and huge ones like this one. On this part of the year, we normally target for big blue marlins because they pass here too. But we do a lot of big eye tuna fishing all over the year.
They're lifting this tuna out, moving it to the scale. We're sitting there watching. We're just feeling really good at this point in time that we definitely eked out a show, but in a big way. And when the tuna was weighed and scaled, it came in at 220 pounds. 220-pound big-eye tuna. Beat my previous big-eye tuna, 215 pounds, caught off of Maryland. So a new personal best. So back at the dock that night, it was time to wash up and break down our my Penn reels and rods and get them ready for the trip. And they had the big guy, but I'll tell you what, it was remarkable to be fishing in North Atlantic to an unbelievable spot called the Azores, which are owned by Portugal. And I'll tell you, if we get that call from tourism again, we will definitely be back. And this time, we're going to make sure Diogo spends a lot of time on those tuna. Marlin, be damned.
If you're a fan of our show, keep up with our adventures by following us on social media. I'm on Instagram at George Poveromo, and on Facebook, go to facebook.com/George.Poveromo. You can also watch your episodes at any time on YouTube at George Poveromo TV. We'll see you on the water.